Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving deep into a highly dense 60-second script to reveal two very important things: immediate, low-cost business opportunities and the hidden mechanics behind producing high-retention, short-form content. Now, on the surface, it's just a pitch detailing 3 startup ideas for students, but underneath that, it is an absolute masterclass in modern digital retention. We're going to break down exactly how this script was engineered, literally, word by word and cut by cut, to stop the scroll and keep viewers totally hooked.
Okay, let's take a quick look at our roadmap for today. We'll start with the student startup mistake, then look at 3 low-cost business scripts, followed by the scene-by-scene visuals. After that, we'll dive into the production cheat sheet and wrap up with the director's final vision.
So let's jump right into section 1, the student startup mistake, and the real cost of waiting for graduation. The script kicks off with this absolute confrontational energy. The director's notes literally specify a tight-faced shot on the founder leaning slightly forward, with a hard cut from black and absolutely zero fade-in. This is entirely designed to create instant tension. It immediately challenges a deeply ingrained assumption, the idea that you need a degree before you can even think about becoming a founder. And the visuals perfectly back this up, calling for B-roll of things like students walking in fast forward or a graduation cap being tossed ironically in slow motion, setting up the exact problem the rest of the content is going to solve. And this right here brilliantly illustrates the premise of the entire pitch by just completely destroying a student's #1 excuse, the budget. The argument is that you're sitting on a campus completely full of potential customers, you're surrounded by free tools, and you're operating with zero overhead. The core takeaway is that waiting is just financially illogical when you can launch a business this week for under $50. This framing completely lowers the barrier to entry, which makes the viewer incredibly receptive to the solutions that come next. Moving on to section 2, 3 low-cost business scripts, offering blueprints for campus entrepreneurship. The script rapidly cycles through these 3 logical blueprints. It gives really actionable starting points for anyone with just a laptop and a phone. The structure here is relentless. It doesn't dwell at all. It gives you the label, the mechanism, and just moves on, keeping the pacing incredibly tight. For that first idea, AI freelancing, the strategy is simple, but honestly, it's ruthless. You pick one skill, like copywriting, video editing, or graphic design. Then you leverage tools like ChatGPT, Midjourney, or CapCut to accelerate your output by 10 times. The whole business model relies on charging standard market or human rates while using the efficiency you gained from AI to keep the massive difference in time and profit. It's essentially an absolute arbitrage of speed. Then for the second idea, micro SaaS, it challenges you to look locally and build hyper-specific solutions with absolutely zero overhead. The script asks a really simple question: what problem does every single student around you constantly complain about? By focusing on a highly targeted audience, like your own campus, you can immediately validate a simple product, like a Notion dashboard or a scheduling tool. Let's hit section 3, scene-by-scene visuals, looking at the visual language of retention. So during that AI freelancing pitch, the visual direction specifically calls for jump cuts between screen recordings of AI in action. Think rapid typing on a laptop or navigating Adobe at top speed, and then contrasting those with income dashboards or client payment notifications. But the absolute golden rule from the source: fast-paced cuts with no shot longer than 2 seconds. The viewer's eye is literally never allowed to rest. And this doesn't just prevent viewer fatigue, it artificially injects a constant sense of urgency into the content. Notice how the B-roll shifts perfectly to match the medium for those next 2 ideas. For the digital-first micro SaaS idea, the script demands screen recordings of a Gumroad product page with the sales counter ticking up. But for the third idea, the content agency, the visuals transition immediately to the physical world. We get a student holding a phone, filming food at a restaurant, followed by a cut to the finished Instagram reel. The director's notes even specify using a whip pan or a hard zoom cut between these ideas. Absolutely no dissolves. The transition itself acts as a literal jolt of energy.
On to section 4, the production cheat sheet, revealing the hidden mechanics of virality.
This really reveals the incredibly rigid structure behind what feels like a totally spontaneous video. We have exactly 138 words forcefully squeezed into a 58 to 62 second window. It's built entirely for a 9:16 vertical aspect ratio, and it's anchored by bold, center frame burn-in captions formatted exactly like TikTok text. Everything is optimized to be read quickly and clearly on a mobile device. Now, this number is wild. Look at the pacing, 18 to 22. According to the production cheat sheet, 18 to 22 cuts per minute is the precise frequency engineered for maximum viewer retention. Think about that for a second. In a 60-second video, the visual is changing almost every 3 seconds at a minimum, and very often faster. It is a highly calculated rhythm designed to completely hack the viewer's attention span.
And the sensory experience is further manipulated with audio, right? The cheat sheet specifies a low-volume, lo-fi trap or punchy ambient music bed running underneath the voiceover. But more importantly, the sound design is basically weaponized. Text overlays don't just quietly appear, they hit with a sharp whoosh sound effect. Every single time the host lists a new idea, it's punctuated by a crisp ding. These aren't just fun aesthetic choices, they are calculated auditory cues to re-engage the listener's brain exactly when it might start to wander. Finally, let's wrap up with Section 5, the director's final vision, focusing on authenticity and the call to action.
The director's note here is incredibly telling. It strictly forbids a polished, traditional TV-style delivery. Instead, it instructs the host to record in one take if possible, demanding this breathless, punchy energy. The source explicitly notes that slight imperfections actually build more trust with the specific Gen Z audience. It is essentially manufactured rawness. They are instructed not to even add a greeting at the start. The first word has to hit at exactly 0 seconds.
The visual climax aggressively matches this high-conviction energy. For the final call to action, the camera actually pulls back slightly to reveal more of the campus environment, proving the host is right there in the trenches with the viewer. The host points directly at the lens, and an animated pulsing red and orange arrow demands a subscription, designed specifically to be large enough to see on mobile without glasses. And the script? It ends on a freeze frame or a jarring smash cut to black, giving the viewer absolutely zero time to decompress.
The script leaves the viewer with a challenge, declaring, "Stop waiting for the right time. The right time is literally right now." It is just a masterfully constructed 60-second engine of persuasion, blending actionable startup advice with ruthless psychological pacing. So, as we wrap up this explainer on the mechanics of modern viral content and low-cost business creation, I'm going to leave you with the exact same provocative thought. If the blueprint is this clear and the tools are this accessible, what is stopping you?